Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be doing a follow-up video to my cheap 100 GBP freestyle model. Now in that video I mentioned that Diatone make a board for the Unify that is specifically designed for this Mamba stack, and each one of these pads here, it lines up perfectly with the connector on there. And some people were saying in the comments, apparently from the grapevine, whatever that is, that Andy RC didn't use enough filtering or he used too much filtering. And I actually spent a couple of months trying loads of different combinations, and the only thing that worked to get completely no noise was to use this Diatone board, and I'll show you. It runs off the 5V. They have got some components on here for filtering. It's also got a buzzer as well if you want to connect that up. I've also very cheekily stolen their 3D printed mount, which uses two low ESR capacitors. This is off their GTR Rabbit, I think they call it. It's one of the GTR series, and it's got a nice LED in there as well, and it fits on there nicely. And of course on the 5V rail we have got another one of these capacitors here as well. I think they are 47 microfarads. Now, sadly, this board in conjunction with a Unify does send the budget quite high, and we don't have a microphone on the Unify either, but we do have 800 milliwatts. Actually, it's 600 milliwatts when I've tested it on my meter, but that is still good enough to get through concrete. So let's get and see what the noise is like now. Not that it was bad before, it was totally acceptable, but in order to eradicate all noise from this Mamba ESC, which has very low filtering, it only has just a couple of ceramic capacitors at the front there, so they've had to do some magic with this board to get clean video, and let's go and take a look at it. So we've got strange lighting conditions again today because it is winter, so the sun is always very low on the horizon, and we have got some clouds around today as well. So every time a cloud goes in front of the sun, it's like a solar eclipse has happened. And these CCD cameras, they do go a little bit dark and it can make it quite difficult to fly, but as you can see, there is no noise on the picture. So what is the damage in terms of price? Well, the Diatone board costs £4.77, and that is with the RF shield, so that's not bad at all. And the RF shield's good as well because it actually protects the UFL connector on the Unify, which is rubbish. It routes it round a different way so that it can never come apart. It doesn't have tension on it, but unfortunately that is an extra expense, so they are $39 direct from TBS, but I would not recommend buying from TBS because I got a tax bill for £40, which is more than the Unify cost itself. So I sourced mine locally from quadcopters.co.uk, and I think it was £35. I guess it's still cheap, and you know, it flies fantastic. I would not switch out the flight controller or the ESCs. There's just a couple of ceramic capacitors at the front, and I think it could have just done with a couple more. As you can see, it's really difficult to see the ground when it goes dark, and I was flying with my friend Rich a week ago, and he has got one of the Micro Eagle 2. They're a 16:9 camera, but what I've done is I've put a Micro Sparrow 2 on my KISS build, even though one of the ESCs exploded, and yeah, I've had to buy another one. In fact, I've bought two because they seem to get a bit flamey. But yes, these CMOS cameras seem to deal much better with these conditions where it goes dark really quickly. But there you go, that is my modification with the diatone board. Don't forget to also put a 47 microfarad low ESR capacitor on the 5 volt rail as well. I think Banggood sell those. In fact, Banggood sell like a big package of low ESR capacitors at all different ratings and numbers, so I'll link to those in the below. And you can see my current meter. Look, it is working properly. Yeah, it really draws the amps, this. And listen how smooth those motors are. I've been flying this for about a month. I've crashed it to death and they are still perfect. Oh, and by the way, my code wasn't working. It is now working. It is because the month has reset. But there we go, it is the end of the flight. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.